Hi gang, it's been a hot minute since I've been in front of the camera. If you're new here, thanks for clicking on this video. My name is Felix. I'm a senior illustration major, ready to graduate, and I have been making a lot of videos talking about my thesis, which is like the first chapter of my graphic novel, Murder at Lightport Island. I've been working very hard on it, and the presentation for it, for like the sort of like big halfway point, is here! Huzzah! I'm so sweaty about it, forever! And I think to be less sweaty, I have like literally like a day and a half before the presentation itself is due. This is before I go on presenting it. They're all just due Sunday. But I think I can fit in one more background. My sort of methodology here is the more I get done this semester, the less I have to do the next one. I'm trying to do a favor for my future self because he's going to go through it. I can sense it in the wind. And also I just wanted to make at least one more video before New Year's. Winter break, I have like one or two more video ideas that may or may not be associated with like my BFA. But like other fun stuff like that. I've gotten a lot of like really sweet encouragement from friends and classmates to make more videos, and so I'm like, I hate to disappoint. But yeah, the support that the channel has been getting is really wonderful. Thanks for liking and subscribing and viewing. And please stay as I talk about my process and I get one more background done. Let's go! Finding the right piece to choose was a little difficult. I had spent most of my time this semester taking out like the big pieces that I wanted to make, and I'd made those traditionally, and so now that I didn't have like a lot of time, I wanted to choose something that was like super easy. I've done digital collage for this project before. Here's a panel that I've done. The interior of a convenience store. As you can see, even just by the sketch, it was going to be something that was very complicated and convoluted, and it was just something that I didn't see myself able to make traditionally in time. So I did this one digitally, and there's some imported traditional textures in there as well. But I ended up liking this one a lot and getting some crit on it to make sure that it felt pretty aligned with like my traditional work and not too different. The sort of corner store thing started specifically because I had already done the exterior of the building, and then the next a few panels later would be the interior. So I was kind of thinking the same thing for this piece because I had done the exterior of the sheriff's office, which is like this little tiny mid-mod building you see here. And another very easy way to finish to get closer to finishing the page was to do this background here, the interior. Bonus points, it's used more than once. I want to have like this sort of like Hanna-Barbera-esque quality where some backgrounds are kind of like essentially reused. The more backgrounds I do, the less I have to do in the future. It's a very like front-heavy project. But yeah, that was like sort of my thought. I really want to do this interior. I haven't been able to do a lot of interiors except for like the corner store that I showed you previously, and so it felt like a really good start and a really good direction. Okay, so I won't talk for the whole thing, but you can see some like sort of like glimpses into my process. You see the panel that I chose, but you see me also like drawing over it. This is like to make some like slight adjustments. The dummy was made with broader strokes in mind, big composition decisions, rather than like these sort of like panel by panel ones. And so some are not where I want them to be, and so legit like this part of the process, it might seem like a little redundant, and I think in a certain setting it is, because I'm just redrawing something that I've already drawn, but it's how I start, and I'm sort of like thinking of like, how is this object built, how is this made, where is like wall placement, and you can see as I slowly start to add textures, and I'm just blocking in the color, and I'm overlaying a texture. These are all like scans of images that I've made myself. I don't like using images I found off the internet, due to like copyright, that sort of thing, but also because it's more fun for me. I feel more connected to these digital pieces in a way that I feel like some of my digital collaging I don't, because it's like I've made every part of it, regardless if it's traditional or digital or not, or like a combination of like the two. But like we get to like a point where it's like this is like sort of like you can see me hemming and hawing. This couch was giving me so much trouble. You can see me blocking in the shapes, but then like overlaying a texture, and I'm trying to do like peeling, leather, that sort of thing. But again, like a sort of another issue with like the constant like here's the value and then overlay the texture on top and like do color adjustments. It's cool and all, but sometimes it makes it hard to deal with like value changes, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'll let it play for a little bit, and we'll see how we are. You can see here to sort of describe form in space. This is something I do throughout all my pieces, but it's especially easy with like a digital one, is to like add shadows, that sort of thing. Something that I feel like doing just traditionally, it wouldn't be super great for me. And you see I'm going back and adding like small textures, little details to make like the scene feel more lively. I want this room to feel uncomfortable and unpleasant, but I also want it to feel like it's like somewhat lived in. Like these are kind of like older pieces of furniture. These are sort of like dated safety signs. You can see me start doing that. These were like a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying like the sort of like text inclusion, because I haven't been like too worried about them being like super awesome, just like visible and like graphic and just in kind of just like there. And so it's like a fun special thing for me. I try to have like a really big visual library for all of my work, especially for this, and I've taken a lot of my own photos, but you can sort of see there's some gaps that I just can't fill. I have like a really big Pinterest board. This is something that I've been like working on since Lightport was just like a fun thing that I did and not like my thesis. And so you can see like I have like backgrounds and like interesting like ideas for like characters and shapes and that sort of thing, just like as like a sort of reference as I'm like looking for stuff. And it's also super helpful because I often get in my own head about like set dressing, like these really small props, like you see like I'm doing like the cork board, but I think at this point especially I was struggling with like adding props and stuff, and so like looking back on this visual library and like finding texturing and trying to incorporate storytelling, that's like first and foremost. So this is like we're just about done with this sort of thing, and so I'll let it continue to play out. But you can see as I slowly build like smaller and smaller props to kind of build up the space. Yeah, and this is the final image. You can see I did a little bit of like post editing with like lighting the values, but yeah, it's done. Huzzah! Hi gang, you reached the end of the video, and I look like that skinny dark-haired kid from Meet the Robinsons right now because I just took a shower. I finished the piece, I put it in the presentation, I looked it over one more time, and then I sent it in, and I'm not going to look at it again because it's due tonight and I can't touch it after that, but also just for my peace of mind. Otherwise I will constantly go in and edit it again and fuss and fidget. It's done. I'm done. I am really excited about all the work I've made. I am pretty happy with this piece. It's a really small background, and like sort of like the one downside of like making pieces that are this like really complicated and then only for like the background of certain panels is that like you have to like sort of like temper expectations on like how long the audience will like look at it. So if you spent the whole time watching me make this piece, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. It's gonna be like in 2 panels out of the entire comic. But the next video will be up soonish. starting that now that I'm free of academic responsibility. Thank you again so much for staying the whole time. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow all that really good, delightful YouTuber shit. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.